Have we done that or it's okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So welcome to this webinar on effective use of AI as data analysis to move from data to business decision making. Now, I'm your host or facilitator for today's session, Joseph Padua by name, and I'm going to be sharing some wonderful tips and tricks using AI to help you work well as a professional in your field. Now, before we begin, I dropped a simple poll before. I don't know how many of us filled that poll, but I can see some of us stated were good. Nobody stated they are great. So, how are you feeling and where are you joining us from today? So, please, you can drop that in the chat how you're feeling and where you're joining us from today. Let's know a thing or two about you. Let's connect. Okay, so I go from Delvin said, I feel great. Keep getting error when I submit the poll. Hmm, that's strange. Sorry about that, Delvis. So yeah, let's introduce ourselves as well. Where are you joining us from in the world? Oh, okay, so I can see I feel good. Okay. Okay, so today's session, right, it's going to be short, not too long. We're going to spend ideally 1 hour because we know there's an amazing Twitter space going on this night, which we will be talking about at the end, towards the end of the session as well. So stay tuned. There are a lot of things we will learn in today's session, and I hope we're excited. I can see somebody from Port Harcourt, somebody from South Africa as well. Welcome to the webinar. I can see Abisola from Lagos, Nigeria as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so today's session is about effective use of AI for data-driven decision making. Now, I know AI is not new to, or let me not assume, right? How many of us are familiar with the concept of AI, artificial intelligence, and what do we understand as artificial intelligence? What do we understand as the term artificial intelligence, AI in general? So, yeah, so please, the
Okay,
session is
so
meant
we
to
have
be.
access to the mic. You can make use of the mic to speak.
Okay, thank you for that, Esther. So Esther is also on this call as well. So if you want to talk, you can talk. Let's have a bit of a conversation.
Okay, so we have someone, we have Copando in the chat box. So just maybe you want to go
Okay.
through that.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. So I've also sent a poll to see how frequently we use AI. We use AI on the date. Okay, I know a little about AI, but I know we are currently or approaching the VIR, which has to do with AI. Hmm, interesting. You want to talk a bit about that? Okay, I can see somebody filled out daily on how frequently they use AI. I'm seeing daily for a lot of people. I know Delvis mentioned he has a problem. Oh, okay, I can see weekly. Weekly for some. So let me share my screen so we can see the result as well. This. Okay, so I have daily, weekly. I at least I don't have never. I don't have never. So we use AI frequently. Okay, Delvis said he use AI weekly. Okay, so but we have two people that stated they use AI daily, which is quite interesting, and two people that are stating they use AI weekly. Use AI weekly. Now, if you don't know about AI, or if you've heard about AI and you've always been wondering how does this AI it itself works, right? So I'll just be showing us like a sort of demo of how an AI system was created. Nothing too technical, but it's just a it should give us the general sense of how AI works and how AI became the way it is. So right now, I don't know if we can see my screen. How many of us can see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so right now I have a lot of AI pages which we are going to we're going to talk about later as well. But right now, I want to give us a warm introduction into AI. Now, AI, so a lot of us, we understand AI as artificial intelligence, which is like we call it like a robotic human brain or something. So it magically has the answer to a lot of our questions. Now, the key question most people tend to omit or tend to ask is how did AI become what it is? Now, to some people, AI became what it is because of the magnificent programming skills of the probably the open AI team, the the and people like that, right? Maybe that's how, or the Google team, that's how AI became what AI is. Now, the truth is, the very first concept of AI actually, I think it can be dated far back to the Turing project. Now, there's somebody called Alex Turing, if I'm not mistaken, and he developed a series of learning. It's something called algorithm, which allowed them to win the war. It helped them to crack the Nazi code. Now, I'm not yet to start talking machine learning or deep learning and stuff like that, but I have here on my web page a simple web page called Teachable Machine. Now, this is powered by Google, and this is like your very first, should I say, very first step if you want to probably learn like machine learning, you want to learn AI a bit, and this is a very, very nice introduction to it. Now, in this teachable machine, I have two spots here. I have something called bad. I was the one that renamed it to bad, but it's sample one and sample two. Now, what this machine works on is on images. Is on images. So I can load some set of images. So I think I should turn off my camera right now. So it's probably okay. So I can load some sets of images into this teachable machine, and I can tell it which one should be good, which one should be bad. So when I keep on loading more, when I create that machine learning model, it will automatically start detecting which one is good and bad. What do I mean? So right now on Google, I'm just going to search for bad tires. I'm just going to search for pictures. I'm using tires in this example. You could use even your own image or something like that. But I'm using tires because it's a lot probably relatable. I'm just going to search for bad tires. I'm going to save the image. Okay, I think I've downloaded that already. So I'm just going to right click, save the image. Now this is just for demo purpose as well. I'm not using their data for anything. Just quick disclaimer. I can come to free pick. Let me see if I type bad tire if I have any results. Uh, okay, these people they don't really have bad tires, so I'll just go with what I see on Google. Now this is just for training purpose. Like I said, if you want to use these pictures, you have to get the proper license as well for use of the pictures. Now I'm going to save this image. Let me create a folder on my system. I'll call it bad C, bad underscore T. Now I'm going to save a lot of examples. Now, the good thing about AI, so what makes AI essentially what it is, it's not with the AI power itself or the program written on the AI, it's the amount of data and information you load into it that can enable the AI to work effectively or poorly. So I'll call this BT2. So this bad tire 2. I'm going to scroll down. Let me look again. Save image as. I'm going to save 5. I'm just going to do 5. It's important when you want to train it. Probably you should use more than 5. You should probably use 20. But because of the sake of this demo, I'm just going to use 5. I can just save this as images. Then which other one should I use? Maybe, don't know if I've used this. Okay, I've downloaded it already. Now, so once I've saved those images of those bad tires, I can come to this teachable machine. I can upload a folder or my files rather. I can come here. If my file is on my Google Drive or my personal system, I can select where it is. Bad tires. I select more than one. Not for sure. Okay, yeah, it allowed me. So I've selected 5 here. Now let me get some good tires. I'll just call this. I'll just be downloading as fast as I can. Now for this one, I have to create a new folder. Let me create a new folder. I'll call it good. So this is one. Looking for the ones that don't have premium. They don't need premium. This 2. I can probably, that's a sketch. This is the 3rd one. Let me just go on Google, good tires. This is the fourth one, and let me save this one. And this is the fifth one. Now I can come to this teachable machine, upload data, select, choose from my images, go to my documents, where I have the good tires. Let me just select all of this. Now my data is not exactly so good, but I'm trying to show an example. Let me have gone somewhere else. Oh, I mistakenly cloned my data set. Now I've loaded five data. Now let's train the model. I can just click on this train model. So it's training based on the data we have. We've loaded into the system. It's going to prepare your training data. Okay, so can you see, after we've done this, we can now either click on export, or let me click on this preview. Let me try to preview this. Wow. So what this preview means is right now, I can do a test. I can load a tire into this model that we've created per se, and I can ask it, is it good or is it bad, based on the data I've loaded into it. So I can come here. Let me look for one that's probably bad. I'll come to all images, looking for one that is really shabby. Okay, maybe something like this. Let me see what my model tells me. Come here, come to my document, just drop it here. So under this my model, I can click on choose image or file, select this file, come to my documents. Now let me set, think, what's this, image one. I'm going to click on open. So right now it will go through this data, and can you see it deemed this data, it deemed this tire as 100% bad. 100% bad. Can we all see my screen? I just want to be sure. Hope I've not just been talking. Hello?
Okay, from my hand, I can see your screen clearly.
Yes, I can. I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So did we get this concept
I can see your screen.
Yeah, so essentially we've created a model. Now I can export this model and probably use it in my other stuff. But this is essentially how they built all these AI systems that we have. This is essentially like how they train. Well, it may not be as simple as this. This is more or less like a GUI, graphic user interface. There they may be writing the actual codes for it, but this is essentially how they built the AI systems that we are using right now. I used two sample, two class. So right here, I could even add a third class. I used two classes of data. I grouped some data into what is bad, what is good, and from there, I now trained my data to select, you know what, any new image I select, it will check based on these five samples we've done, what is good, what is bad. And it will give it based on a percentage from the learning it has done, essentially. Now, why this introduction? I'm sure most of us may ask. Essentially, when we want to work with our data, if the quality of our data is not as good as it should be, or probably in the right state, we wouldn't get the best sort of results with AI essentially. And the same goes with our prompts. So what do I mean by prompts? You have a problem or challenge you want to do, you want AI to solve rather. You have a problem or challenge you want AI to solve, and you just put it in a messy, unstructured way. The machine wouldn't be able to learn if the way we structure our prompt is not in the right sense of view. Now, this was just an example of how AI works as a whole. Now, we have AI in a lot of application and tools and services. The first one which I'm going to highlight is AI in Excel. Then I'll go to AI in Power BI. Then I'll talk about general chatting AI that we are used to or we become used to according to our sense. So right now I have an Excel document open. I have an Excel document open. So this is a simple sales data that I got from the internet from Cargo. This is just a simple sales data I got from Cargo. Now, based on this data, right? Based on this data, I'm given this data. Now, as an analyst, I would have certain questions to answer. Probably it's your business, right? You may have been given certain questions to answer from this data, right? As an analyst, typically you know the right steps to go about in analyzing the data, but sometimes you may just need the inspiration on what to analyze or how to go about with your analysis of the data. Now, in Excel, in good old Excel, this is an Excel sheet. If you are using your Office 365 Excel, please note, or you are using a version of Excel relatively newer than I think 2016 rather or 2017, 2019 rather, you should have this button called Analyze Data. Analyze Data. So if your data is well structured, and this is why I started with that example. If your data is well structured, you can just click on this Analyze Data button. Excel will go through your data set. It will go through your data set and it will recommend some reports and some visualization for you to use directly in your data. Now, I can scroll through this right. I can see some of the examples it has highlighted. If this is not what I'm looking for, probably I was given specific questions like, okay, what which state has the highest sales? I was asked this question, which state has the highest sales? I can just go to it and well, it's showing me blank, which I need to check if in my data I actually have a state. So I'll come here, let me check. Do I have a state? Well, the state data, can you see this? Another thing we've mentioned. The state data is not well cleaned out as well. We have some issues with the data. So maybe that's why it's not giving us the best result. But let me ask it, which city? Let me see what it gets. City has the highest sales. Now, if I ask for city and I click on insert data, I get the result. Which city has the highest sales? Now, as an analyst, you should probably know how some of these things work. This is a simple pivot table. If you were not to go through this route, you probably come to your data where you have your data, this sales data. You come to your insert tab beside your home, click on pivot table, select your pivot table from table or range, and you select where you want your pivot table to be stored, a new worksheet. Then once you select that, I'm just listing how the process will do to get to our data, to our action points, which is top city by sales. We now click on this filter button and we go to value filter. I can scroll down top 10 filter and I can tell it top one filter by sales. Now you can see how long that process would have been for me to do. But with this analyze data feature, I could easily do it in matter of minutes or matter of seconds. I don't know if I hope my audience is still with me. Are you still with me? Kindly drop a yes or reaction in the comment as well. Or you could unmute your mic. So this is the analyze data feature. You could ask it question based on your data already in Excel. And now the beauty of this is if you have Copilot for Excel, now there's a lot more. You have a Copilot for Excel feature that's slightly different from this analyze data feature. But this analyze data feature is a nice starter point where you can ask questions directly based on your data set, and Excel will quickly get you the results you need in simple pivot tables and charts. Now, as an analyst, your job is to now steer or direct it properly. Now, right now, I'm moving over to Power BI a bit. Moving over to Power BI. If you have questions, please note those questions. We'll go over the questions uh, as well, or you can drop it in the chat. So, in case if I miss out on those questions. Now, this is a simple sales dashboard. A simple sales dashboard in the sense of you have your region, the values for your region, the year selected, and you have some metrics based on the region. Now I can select this. I can select 2014. The report to look slightly different. I can select 2015. The report to look slightly different. Now, why am I showing you this? I'm not showing you this to admire the report, right? I'm going into something else, right? So right now I have a data set. This is the data model itself I wanted to show, not really the report per se. But I have a report, a data set in my Excel or in my Power BI system right now. And I need to find out what are the key players or the key influencers that drive off my revenue. What are the key things that make my revenue work or my sales go up in my business? Now, in Power BI, there are a lot of AI features that you can use in Power BI. You have this feature called the key influencer feature. And how it works, I'll just open a new page. How it works, I can just bring in a key influencer visual on my screen, drag this visual, and what I have here is analyze, explain by, and expand by. Now, let me show what this means. Analyze is talking of your value field. So, what is your value? What value are you analyzing? Yeah, I'm analyzing a simple measure called total revenue, which was created using DAX. So now the next thing I need to provide is I want to explain this revenue by what? What is that key influencer I'm trying to check for? Let me say, okay, maybe I should check by months. Is there any influencer by okay, I clicked on some of month's name rather. Is there any influencer by month's name? No influences found. Try adding more fields into explain by. So it's telling me that it has checked months. It's not really seen a strong cause for the revenue increase. Maybe I should add more fields so that I can understand the data. I select markets. Let's see. It's still telling me that I can now select region. The more data you supply, that's how AI typically works. The more data you supply, the better its results and analysis go about. Now, when I selected store, I selected month, market, region, and store. Now it has actually seen, oh, what could be a driver for the revenue increase? So it tells me the total revenue is more likely to increase when the store is anchored than otherwise on average. So when the store is amper, the revenue is more likely to increase than when it's not. Now I can change this to decrease. What's the cause of the decrease? What's the key influence of the decrease? Now, for the key influence of the decrease, I have a lot more analysis or statistics which I can use as well if I want to see in my metric. And this is just the key influencer visual which we have in Power BI. We also have the Q&A. The Q&A visual, this one you can ask a question based on your data, just like what we did earlier, and it will probably, just like what we did for Excel, it will probably give you a result and analysis for it. Now, for this one, you have to sign in to your account if you are not already signed in. But let me just ask it something. Top region by average revenue. Let me click on this. It's not allowing me to enter, so I have to sign in. Okay. Okay, so it has brought out the result for me already. Top region by average revenue. It has brought out the result for me. I can ask it another sort of question which I want. Based on my data, the AI will answer the question, will give me the visualization of choice for the question. Now, as an analyst, typically it's not that, oh, I should leave all my job. Your job is not necessarily to be creating the visuals per se, but you may decide to, you know what, this may not be probably the best way I want to tell this story. Maybe I want to tell it in another way round. But this, imagine if you're asked to create like thousands of reports every single day with some of these visuals which I highlighted, the key influencer visuals, you have the Q&A visual. Then we also have another visual called the smart narrative visual in Power BI. I can click on this smart narrative visual. Now this one is majorly works with your fields of reports you already have on your visualization pane. So currently I don't have a report supported for the smart visual on my page. But what this smart visual is, let me just open a new page. I can add a simple bar chart. And let me add maybe revenue, so, and let me add another one, maybe revenue, and yeah. So probably, yeah, let me add something like this. Now, I may need to add more visuals, but let me click on the smart narrative. Let me see if it gives me. Now, you have this Copilot option. Now, if you have a Copilot subscription, you can easily click on this Copilot preview. If you do not have a Copilot subscription, you can click on this normal custom, which ideally works based on the visuals you have. And what it does is it gives like a dynamic summary of your data. So this is telling me total revenue for 2014 was higher than 2015 at this value, and 2014 accounted for 62.78% of total revenue. That's what the narrative is telling me, smart narrative. I can add a slicer and this context will change. I can add a slicer by, let me say, region. Let me check North Central, Northeast. And the smart narrative visual will be updated based on that context I've added as well. So if you see the values are changing slightly, or the report or recommendation is changing. So total revenue for this was higher than this as well. Now that's the smart narrative visual in Power BI. This can significantly help you to create quick insight and recommendation based on your data. Now, one last other thing that I would mention is all these measures I created in Power BI, in DAX, for example, Power BI. Now, if you are not probably so versatile with code, you don't like coding, or coding is not, most people, coding is not their first language or their first starter point, right? To be knowing when to write certain measures, your month to month percentage variance, to be writing this calculation may not be your quick strong point. Now in Power BI, you have a copilot feature that can allow you to create some of these measures. Now, so under this my measures, let me just create a simple measure. I'll come here, click on new measure. Sorry, not even new measure. I wanted to click on. So so I can, let me just click on console. So under this my table tools at the top here, I have an option to click on quick measures. Quick measures. So quick measures is what I wanted to click on. Now, Power BI, or as for those who are not aware, Power BI already has some default calculation measures that you could use and leverage as well under these quick measures. But you can use suggestions with Copilot. Now, as much as possible, you should be a bit careful when using this, but you can give it clear description to get to the results, get to the DAX code you need. So if I want to get probably the the average revenue for North Central, Northwest. Let me use Northwest. Since average revenue for Northwest, I can click on generate. And with this Copilot feature already, it has suggested a measure for me. I can look at this measure. Now, where you as an analyst come into play, and I like Microsoft choice of word calling it Copilot. It's not that it is the pilot, it's a co-pilot. What it means is that as it's a co-pilot, you shouldn't just take what it's giving you with a pinch of salt. Now, as an analyst, you should understand what probably some of these measures are doing, and you can recommend, you know what, oh, why is he using this in this place? Why is he using that in this place? If you look at it and this looks probably correct, you can click on add, and it adds it into your measures tab already in your Power BI. So that saves you significant time from writing all those calculations that you may not necessarily probably need to start memorizing how the calculation works. But it's good to understand how different expressions work so that you can validate the output of it. Now, a bonus tip is when you publish a report to Power BI service, for example, okay, let me cancel all these things I've done. I want to publish them. Just gonna cancel. Let me hide this. So when you publish a report to Power BI service, now Power BI service, for those that are not aware, for how you share your reports, essentially in Power BI, you publish your report to the service, and this allows you to share your report based on certain capabilities. I can publish this report to I'll just use my workspace. Typically, I'm not sure I've published it to my workspace. I can click on select. Now, once I publish a data set, or a semantic model, as it's called right now, when you publish a report, you publish two things in Power BI: a data set and a report. Once you publish that data set, you have something called get quick insights. Get quick insights. So if you're at the very first stage, you've done your data cleaning process and created your data model, but you don't probably know what visualization to use or how to start going about the visualization. You can just even click on publish your report, publish the data set. Once you publish it, you have this option of get quick insights. By clicking on this get quick insights, Power BI with its AI capabilities will set to your data set and try to create some well, you may call it maybe nice sort of insights. Some may not be useful to what you need, but some of it may be useful to you. Now, as I'm publishing this now, it's loading quick insight. So if you see, based on my data, it has already come up with some of these reports. Some of them, like I said, I may need them. Some of them I may not need them. And if I need them, I have this option to pin them into a dashboard in Power BI service, or I could pin them into a dashboard in Power BI service if I will need them, like some of these reports. But if I do not need them, I don't have to. But that's just like a summary of some of the cool AI capabilities you can use within Power BI. In Excel, for those who are not aware, you have also an option called Flash View. So it's important to note with the recording of this class will also be uploaded on YouTube. So in case but you can ask your questions as I progress in case if you want me to deal with something. Now given an instance you have a name like Sales John, Joy, Ruth, Paul, Saul, Joseph, Ayo, or something, Ruth, Solomon. Given you have all these names and you want to extract the first name in this list. Now there are a lot of ways you can go about doing this. You can use a formula and function. You can use your text to column, text split as well. You can use certain things. But with AI capabilities in Excel already, you can just type the first one, give it an example, press a button, and it automatically picks out your first name from the list. The same goes for your last name. You can type an example, press that button, and it automatically fills the list. Now, for those who are wanting probably want the button I'm pressing, is a shortcut called Control E. That is for Flash View. So Flash View is an intelligence tool in Excel that allows you to populate your results. Now, so I've been talking a bit about Excel. Now, I don't want to throw away, or should I say rather, I don't want to push away non-Excel users, maybe Google Sheets users. In Google Sheets, now this depends. It depends. I've asked some people and they say they can't see this feature. Maybe it's because I'm logged on to the trial. I don't know. I'll confirm that. But you have Gemini. You have Gemini in Google Sheets. And with Gemini, you can ask it to do certain things and certain capabilities in Google Sheets. Like you can ask it to help me create a table. For example, this is just a blank Google Sheet which I have. I can tell it, help me create a table, and I can just type this. Let me see what the Gemini will do. Now, the moment I do that, it has created this table for me. I can decide to edit it, insert, discard. If I like it, I can insert it. If I don't like it, I can discard it. Maybe I like it, I can insert it. Now it has created this table for me in a nice and easy way. Let me try out some things. I've not fully tested the capabilities of the Gemini in the spreadsheet, but I can ask it. I want to sum up the expense. Let me see if it's something simple. If it will give me the result I want. Something simple. So see what you told me. The answer to your question is 2695. The formula used to generate the answer is sum E2 to E12. I find this quite impressive. Like if you don't, it's what it did was it summed this value and let me actually check if the result is correct. So can you see this 2695? The Gemini AI answered this question for me already. Now, so this shows you with there's AI features in Google Sheets as well. The Gemini feature, like right, like I said, as at right now, I don't know if it is available for everybody. You may check from your end. Probably you may not see it. I know Google are probably working on releasing it. I some time ago signed up for the trial, so I have access to some of the features as well. Like I said, if it's try it out and you did not see it, there's an easy way to sign up for various trials and you can test the feature as well. So this is Google Gemini AI features. There's also AI in PowerPoint. I could keep on going on and showing a lot of AI features as well. But the key highlights which I wanted to really drive home in this session, apart from showing us some AI tools and capabilities, right, is we have now for general AI access tools, right? We have the following. We have our ChatGPT. We have our ChatGPT, which we have here. We have our Gemini, Copilot Studio. There's another Copilot, Copilot, not Copilot Studio. We have Julius AI. Julius AI is nice for data analysis. We have Cloud AI. So these four core AI software. Now I don't always say, oh, I wouldn't use Gemini, I wouldn't use ChatGPT. I use a whole lot of AI tools. The reason being is sometimes you can even use another AI to fact check the output of an AI. What do I mean about that? Now, key tips for working with AI and when we want to ask AI certain questions. Now, the first tip is if you've been following on with this video and you heard what I said, what makes AI powerful is the amount of data it was trained with. Now, what made ChatGPT the monster or the powerhouse it is today was it was trained with a huge load of data, like a huge load of data. But that data, it was trained with a huge load of data. So when we want to ask AI certain question, we should bear in mind that AI has a whole lot of information, and this information can scatter I would say scatter the AI brain, but it could essentially make the AI not give the best results we want. That's why sometimes people will say you probably use an AI that is focused to a particular tool and service because in that type of scenario, the AI is more specialized. So let's take it for medicine, for example. You have when people are studying medicine, I think they study the entire medical syllabus, but when they want to do specialty, they probably specialize in a specific area. Now, to get your AI to specialize in that specific AI area, you need to filter the AI to that specific area you are interested in. If not, the AI can probably get you the correct answer or get you something that is close to the correct answer. But if you don't filter it well, you'll be getting a lot of wrong answers. Now, the key filtering technique that I use when I want to ask AI a question, let's take it as a VBA question, for example. I want to ask it to give me the code, give me a VBA code that would enable me to print an Excel document with the click of a button. Now, for me to do that, I wouldn't just tell it, give me a VBA code to enable me to print an Excel document with a click of a button. Me, my own technique, I'm always polite to the AI. I don't know. Like they said, if the AI takes over, you don't want to be the scapegoat. You don't want to be the scapegoat. But that was just on the lighter note. So I always start with hi, maybe hi, whatever tool I'm asking GPT. Then after I've done my polite greeting, you give it a persona. By persona, you give it a context it should operate as. I need you, I need you to act as an Excel specialist with advanced VBA knowledge. So once I give it this persona, I can hit enter, or I could still ask the same question in that same line, but I could hit enter, and what will happen when I hit enter? Now its core answer focus will be based on that personality that I've given it. Now I will tell it I need the I need the I need a VBA code that would allow me to save an Excel range as a PDF. The moment I give it this example and I've given it that persona, it's intelligently will tell me the step-by-step process I can follow and what I need to do to get this code working. Now I can just do a simple. Yes, can you hear me?
So sorry to interrupt you. So someone has a question for you when you were demonstrating on Power BI Copilot, and also I needed to be time conscious at this time.
Yes. Don't worry. I'm slowly rounding up. So this is the major step. Now, so I'll get to that question. So please, I'm slowly rounding up. So right now, this is the question. This is the prompt. This is the script it has given me. Another thing I can do to be sure that, oh, probably this is the right result. Now I know I know some bit of VBA, and I know this should ideally work. Now another thing I could do is I could probably copy this. Let me give it to another AI. Let me see what another AI will do. I'll copy the prompts which I sent to this AI. I'll send it to Gemini. Gemini is Google's own version and it's free as well. Google's own version of AI. It's free. I can paste this. I'll drop it to Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft and OpenAI collaboration. On your system, if you are using Windows 11 upon, you should have this Copilot for Windows feature. I can come to this Copilot, paste this. Let me give it the first context. Windows V, it opens my clipboard. So I can just do this. So let me see what Copilot does. Copy this prompt, give it to Julius. Now what I'm doing is just kind of fact checking. You may not necessarily have to fact check with all the AI tools that you want, but I'm just want to show the output of each and every one of these AI tools. Now this is what Copilot gave me. Let me see what Gemini gave me. Gemini gave me almost the same line of code as well. The same way goes with what this stuff gave me, ChatGPT gave me. And Claude, you have Claude AI. So the benefit of using AI essentially, if you ask the question in the right manner. So the very first step is normally greetings is always polite. Give it a persona and be clear with what you want to achieve. And with that, AI will enable you to solve your specific request. I could test out the code, but because of time, I wouldn't do that right now. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was something that it's not really talked about majorly right now, but it's something to bear in mind. There's something called Project Sophia. Project Sophia is Microsoft. It's kind of like Microsoft new tool to test out some of. It's like your AI analyst basically. So how this works is let me click on new workspace. How this works is you would what question or topic do you want to explore? I don't need to do this. I can just click on add data. I can add my data to this project Sophia 2. I downloaded a sales data today, right? Okay, yeah. I can add this data to this tool. Now with the project Sophia, which is supposed to be like your let me see the file requirements. Is it too large? Let me see. No more than 10 MB, no more than 10 MB, essentially. Well, this Microsoft bug is really annoying. So, well, it may also be because I have the file. So that could be a problem. But well, I could show with an example which I already have, where I've done something before. I could show that I don't just want to spend more time already. Now, this is the data set which I uploaded. Is typically like this other one which was uploaded. And with Project Sophia, I can already see certain metrics about the data which I have. Let me zoom out. I have people's names and scores as well. And with Project Sophia, I can go deeper into the data. What's happening in the data? What are the relationships in the data and stuff like that? So without over exhausting us with a lot of information, I know I've covered a lot of AI tools and services. Now the key thing is AI is around. AI will keep on getting better. AI could enable us work faster if we know how to use it. Do not reject AI, embrace it, and learn prompting techniques. Now, after this webinar, probably on the YouTube description as well, we will probably upload a document which will kind of be like the summary of this presentation and some key points. The documents were created by some amazing people. Their names will be in the document as well, we can see. So please stay tuned for that and ensure you watch the recording in case if you probably missed out on certain things as well. So my name remains Joseph Padevo. I hope we learned a thing or two in today's session, and I'll be taking questions right now.
Okay,
So
so if we have
questions?
questions, we can unmute our mic. But there's a question in the chat, Joseph. You might want to go through that, the one on Copilot and Power BI Premium.
Okay. Okay, so let me see. Is it only people with premium subscription that have access to Copilot in Power BI? Now, so it's for this, you have to be specific. Now, there are some access level to some certain Copilot features in Power BI. What do I mean by that? If you have a pro license, just the typical pro license, you should still have access to this Copilot suggestions with Copilot. Now, if you are using a developer account, your developer account most likely has a pro license, so you should have these suggestions with Copilot. Now, the Copilot feature you may not have which you need a Fabric license, a Fabric proper license to have that is the narrative copilot. So when I showed the smart narrative, this is my screen so small. When I show the smart narrative, yeah, you can see this copilot preview. This one is the one that is not available. What this one essentially is based on the data, it will come up with a richer narrative. You don't have to have visuals on your screen. The co-pilot's preview will come up with an interesting story based on the data. But you still have some co-pilot features already in your normal Power BI license as well, like these suggestions with Copilot. You also have in well, that's Microsoft Fabric per se, but your data flows in Microsoft Fabric, you have Copilot features in there as well, which you don't necessarily need to have a premium license. I hope I answered that question.
Okay, yeah, you did. Thank you.
Okay, so more questions. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for the webinar, Mr. Joseph. I've always liked your classes and your presentation. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I have a question. If you have a data set, like it consists of reviews from customer, and you need to do sentiment analysis on it, and you want to use AI for it, that AI you introduce us to, that you can upload your data set, can that AI like help us create a new column for sentiment, polarity, all those sentiment, text analytics?
No, I love that question. So that AI right now, that AI is a lot in preview. So I'm sure you are talking of, is it the Claude AI, right? The Claude AI. So it's a lot in preview. Now Julius AI may do something like that, but the thing which I say is a large aspect when you are dealing with something way complicated like that type of sentiment analysis and adding the value. It's something we could actually test if we had the data set and probably the time. Julius AI, because it's more focused into data, can add a column to it and you can export the data. If you see right now, it's using Python per se. It's using the runtime is using is Python, so you could probably go about doing that. Now with Microsoft Fabric, in Microsoft Fabric you can do that, but with that AI as that now, like I said, because it's a lot more experimental, I'm not so sure it's that stable to do it, but you can try out Julius AI. So Julius AI, you can try it out and you can let me know what the output was for Julius AI.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so more questions. We actually trained our own model today. I don't know how many of us observed that we trained our own machine learning model today, which is something I think we can. One thing I want us to do after this session, right? Please talk about it on your social media handles. We trained a model. It's not only me that did it. You did it with me as well. We trained a model. We talk about some of your key learning points as well. So what we did, for those who didn't join earlier, we grouped things into good or bad, and we trained a model that can allow us to detect what a good tire is and a bad tire is. And we use some other AI features as well in this session. So questions before we call it a day. And before we call it a day, it's important to know there's an interesting Twitter space which is going to start in like 15 minutes from now. It's hosted by the Fabric User Group Nigeria. So please, I implore us all to tune in. Is a Twitter space, so you can always listen as well, and you can ask questions. There are amazing facilitators who are going to talk in that space as well. So just so we know. Okay, so Delvis, I can see your hand is up.
Hello, Joseph. Good evening.
Good evening. Please go
Hello,
ahead.
can you hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Once again, thank you for the very informative webinar. So my question is, okay, at the beginning, you demonstrated how AI is trained. Now, that the implication is that in the course of training AI, if the wrong information is given, is fed into the machine, it will end up feeding that wrong information to the end user, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Hello.
Yes, I heard you. I heard you. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I just want to.
Okay. Okay. So, as an end user, how do you navigate such a danger where you might end up you might give the right prompts and everything and still get the wrong information from AI based on how the AI was trained. So, how do you navigate such pitfall?
Yeah, excellent question. I really love that question, Delvin. So that's why essentially, right, what OpenAI have done and what Microsoft has done. There's something which I didn't talk about earlier. Given time, there's a lot of knowledge I could appart, but we have the time and we're mindful of the time not to overbear us with information. There's a tool called Copilot Studio, and Microsoft itself has, sorry, OpenAI itself, they allow you to work with your own data. You can supply your own data to it. So if you don't just want to, if you want to avoid the fear of it has been trained with bad data, you could actually supply your own data to it, to the AI interface. If you are using ChatGPT 4 for the premium version, I'm not currently using it, but I've seen it. I've used it in action. The premium version, you can actually supply your own data and you can now train, you can do some level of training. I don't mean writing the machine learning model. No, they've made it so simple that you can train it based on certain prompts. The same for Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio for Microsoft. If you load your data into the Copilot Studio, you can train how it will react. I've released a video on this on a YouTube channel called CDHQ, Citizen Developer HQ, so you could check it out as well. So what this essentially does is you can bring in your data and you can leverage the backend which they've used, the models, the writing they use, not the data. So it's the issue is not always with the writing they did, it's normally the data they created. So you can bring in your own data with Copilot Studio or with ChatGPT 4, and I think some other platform as well allow that. You can bring in your own data, and in this knowledge section, you can add your own knowledge, as we call it, and the AI will now be operating based on that knowledge you've supplied it with. I hope I have answered that your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right, Joseph, I'm not sure we'll be taking more questions again. Are there any other hands raised? I can't see any for now.
Okay, I wanted to confirm, do you have like an evaluation form? I don't do we okay, I can see how can I have access to on the AI on my Excel. If you like I said, if you have an Office 365 Excel, this analyze data feature should be available in your Office 365 Excel. For the Copilot Excel, you need to have a Copilot subscription for Excel. So Copilot 365, that is for a more advantage feature for Excel. Copilot for Microsoft 365. This allows you to enable AI for all other, but it has a subscription attached to it as well. But if you need the basic stuff which I just demonstrated, all the things I demonstrated today were outside that Copilot subscription, like this analyze data, you should be able to do that from your end as well. Hope I've answered that. So I don't know, Abisola, did you answer my question on do we have like a form, or Esther? Do you have anything? Okay, so like Abisola said earlier, we have our next cohort is coming in. We are next bootcamp, and if you want to learn more on data analysis as a whole, you learn Excel, you learn Power BI, you learn SQL as well. This is a perfect opportunity to leverage that. If you've not registered, we implore you to. I think they can still register, right? If I'm not mistaken. So we implore you to register for the cohort. We implore you to ask your friends, your colleague, if you are already registered for us, be a Datakliq ambassador, right? I ask people to register, subscribe as well. It's so we do not take your subscription for granted. So please endeavor, like I said, some wonderful contents have been created already by some excellent people. So please ensure we watch the YouTube video, and under the description we'll try to upload that document as well. I think I'm done. I don't know if there's any other addition.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joseph. And thank you everyone for joining us. We've been able to cover some important insights about effective use of AI, and I hope we all found the session valuable. So personally, I learned so much. Thank you so much, Joseph, once again. Your contribution has been enlightening. And then if we have any further questions, we can reach out to us on our social media handle. Also, let's take note that this recording will be uploaded on YouTube. Please follow our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our social media pages. And again, we would love to have our feedbacks on today's webinar. You can tag us on LinkedIn, you can tag us on Twitter, share with us how much you learned during this session. So on this note, but before then, I'll quickly drop the registration link to the next call that Joseph mentioned in the chat. So I'm dropping that now, and as well, draw the curtain on today's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much, everybody, once again. The link is being shared already. Thank you all